Nobody expected J.D. Vance's wife, the private, disciplined, impossible to rattle Usha Vance, to be the one who finally shatters the silence. But tonight, she didn't just shatter it. She obliterated it. Because what she revealed about Erika Kirk wasn't petty drama. It wasn't influencer beef. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't women being emotional. It was a plan, a strategy, a quiet, calculated blueprint that had been unfolding for months behind closed doors. A plan that touched J.D. Vance, his marriage, his public image, and, according to Usha herself, a plan that reached all the way toward the White House. And tonight, for the first time ever, Usha Vance confirmed the whispers everyone was too afraid to say out loud. Yes, Erika Kirk was trying to get close to political power. Yes, she was positioning herself beside rising political men. Yes, she was studying political marriages, political wives, political dynamics. Yes, she was inserting herself in places she did not belong. And yes, she was doing it intentionally. But the shocking part wasn't just the behavior. It was the target. According to Usha, Erika wasn't just floating around politics. She was trying to replace someone, to become someone, to evolve into the ideal political spouse. Someone who could mold a rising leader's public image. Someone who could whisper into private conversations. Someone who could attach herself to a political trajectory that was already heading toward national office. And who was that rising leader? You guessed it, J.D. Vance. Usha revealed that Erika had been observing them, watching their dynamic, noting their differences, commenting on Usha's personality in subtle ways, trying to insert herself as the emotionally attuned option, trying to wedge herself into the political orbit of a family she barely knew. And the moment Usha said this line, the internet stopped breathing. She wanted a role that was never hers. She wanted access to my husband for a purpose that had nothing to do with faith or friendship. She had a plan, and I finally saw it. In seconds, the clip went everywhere. Millions of views. Thousands of comments. Creators screaming. Political wives deeming each other. Every insider suddenly nervous because if Erika really had a plan, if she was studying political families, if she was positioning herself strategically, if she was aligning with certain TPUSA leaders, then this wasn't drama. This was a White House infiltration attempt. And the darkest part. Usha says she has proof, screenshots, voice notes, witnesses, patterns, and a timeline that leads to one horrifying conclusion. Erika wasn't trying to influence J.D. She was trying to replace Usha as the political wife beside a rising national figure. This is where the real story begins. Long before Usha Vance ever spoke her first word publicly. Long before the internet heard the phrase Erika Kirk's secret plan. Long before the idea of a White House infiltration blueprint even existed. The truth had already been quietly unfolding behind walls, behind social circles, behind whispered conversations in a world where influence moves silently, allies disguise themselves as friends. And ambition is more powerful than loyalty, because Erika Kirk didn't appear in political circles by accident. She placed herself there. She studied the culture. She observed the patterns. She memorized the personalities. She learned exactly which people held emotional power, which people held social power, and which people held the connection to political power. And Erika, who many believed was just sweet, faith-filled, and supportive, was actually preparing for something else entirely. Inside conservative circles, people started noticing the same pattern. Erika Kirk was always present in places she didn't need to be. Not loudly, not aggressively, but strategically. She never barged into rooms. She slipped into them quietly. She never pushed for influence openly. She built it through emotional leverage. She never asserted herself like a leader. She positioned herself like a shadow, someone you don't notice until she's everywhere. But the real turning point, the moment everything changed, was the arrival of JD and Yusha Vance into the mainstream spotlight. JD, the once working-class success story who became a best-selling author, then a senator, then a rising national figure with a growing political following. And then there was Yusha, brilliant, composed, intimidatingly intelligent. The type of woman who never needed to raise her voice because her presence alone commanded respect. This was a political couple with real potential. A couple who could rise high. A couple who could define the conservative movement's next decade. A couple many insiders whispered might one day be in the White House. And two, Erika. This wasn't a couple. This was an opportunity, a blueprint, a future she wanted. Proximity too. People close to the situation. Said Erika became fascinated, borderline obsessed with how political marriages function at high levels, not romantically. Strategically, she began watching political couples like a scientist dissecting anatomy, how they spoke to each other, how they supported each other, how they presented themselves, how wives handled pressure, how husbands responded to stress, how public appearances were crafted, how private moments shaped public decisions. And the couple she studied the most was JD and USHA, not because they were celebrities, not because they were glamorous, because they were rising, because they had real future potential, because they represented exactly what Erika dreamed of: a structured, respected, well-positioned political marriage with access to powerful circles and a pathway into Washington's highest rooms. But here's where the story turns dark. According to multiple insiders, Erika didn't watch JD the way fans watch a political figure. She watched him the way someone watches a door they're waiting to walk through. And she didn't study Yusha out of admiration. She studied her as competition. The insiders, said Erika, made subtle comments, always soft, always spiritual, always disguised as concern about Usha's presence. She's very quiet. She seems distant. Looks overwhelmed. She carries too much weight on her shoulders. She's emotionally closed off. Maybe she's not meant for public life. Some people aren't called to be political spouses. Each comment designed to seem kind, but planted to create doubt. And then came the moment that changed everything. An insider overheard Erika say, in a whisper she thought nobody caught, "She's strong, but not relatable." People connect to warmth. A woman who is softer. Someone who feels like the heart of America. Softer, warmer. She meant herself. This wasn't admiration. This was comparison. This was positioning. This was a woman imagining herself standing beside a man like JD in photo ops, in interviews, in campaign moments, in future leadership spaces. But there was one problem. Yusha Vance is not a woman who gets intimidated. She is not a woman who misses red flags. She is not a woman who gets manipulated emotionally. She is not a woman who lets strangers infiltrate her marriage. Yusha saw Erika early, not as a threat, but as a calculation. Because Yusha is a prosecutor by profession. She was trained to read people, tone, body language, inconsistencies, motive, while Erika believed she was slowly inserting herself into the Vance's emotional orbit. Yusha was quietly collecting evidence. She watched Erika's changes in behavior. She noticed the sudden, innocent compliments about JD. She noticed the attempts to bond with her. She noticed the unnecessary spiritual advice. She noticed the overly sweet attempts to seem like a comforting presence. She noticed the subtle comparisons being made. Yusha didn't respond. Emotionally, she responded strategically. She observed. She waited. She documented. She listened. And the more she saw, the more one thing became clear. Erika Kirk wasn't trying to be influential. She was trying to be essential, necessary, indispensable, someone whose presence in JD's life could not be questioned. And the most disturbing part, Yusha found patterns that matched identical tactics Erika had allegedly used in other political circles. Positioning herself beside powerful men, weakening female bonds. Isolating wives, emotionally creating narratives about women being cold or unstable. Presenting herself as the compassionate alternative, aligning herself as the emotional guide. Trying to spiritually anchor powerful men. This wasn't delusion. This was a playbook designed for one thing: long-term political access. But the moment that finally made Usha snap, the moment she realized this wasn't just about influence or attention, was when Erika allegedly implied, quietly, indirectly, but unmistakably, that some political wives aren't meant for the long-term journey, that some wives step aside eventually, that some movements need a different kind of woman, A woman with charisma, a woman with heart, a woman who could elevate a leader emotionally, a woman like her. That was the moment Usha decided to speak. Because this wasn't just insulting, it wasn't just manipulative, it was a threat to her family, a threat to her marriage, a threat to JD's credibility, a threat to the political movement, a threat to the reality of how women are treated in the highest circles of power. And Yusha.com, composed, unshakable Yusha knew she had to do something no one expected. She had to expose her. She had to expose the tactics, the manipulation, the strategy, the secret plan, the whispers, the comparisons, the attempts to position herself beside JD, the dangerous idea that she could one day be the political spouse beside a rising national figure. And when Yusha spoke publicly, she didn't speak as a wife. She didn't speak as a political partner. She didn't speak as someone defending her marriage. She spoke as someone revealing a plot. A plot that went deeper and further and darker than anyone imagined. A plot that began with Erika Kirk, but didn't end with her. Because according to Usha, Erika wasn't acting alone. There was someone behind her, and that is where the real twist begins. The moment Usha Vance broke her silence, everything exploded at once. Not in the loud, chaotic way social media loves, but in the quiet, deadly way that happens when the truth has been buried for too long and the person revealing it is calm, intelligent, and absolutely certain of what she's saying. Because Yusha didn't speak with anger. She didn't shake. She didn't break down. She didn't accuse out of emotion. She spoke with the voice of someone who has been watching, someone who has been connecting dots, someone who has been seeing every hidden detail unfold behind her, someone who finally realized Erika Kirk wasn't just getting close. She was executing a plan, a coordinated, intentional strategy built on manipulation, emotional infiltration, and political positioning. And Usha's revelation didn't just expose Erika's intentions. It exposed the first twist the world wasn't ready for. Erika had help. Real help. Powerful help. A man. Someone inside conservative circles. Someone who works with influence the way a surgeon works with precision. Someone who understands psychological entry points. Someone who trains people how to manipulate narratives quietly. Usha hinted gently, but unmistakably, that Erika wasn't operating alone. She had a guide, a voice, a hand shaping her decisions. And when Yusha said that line, the entire internet stopped breathing. She was being advised, coached, directed. Someone was telling her exactly how to approach my husband. The reactions were immediate. Who is it? There's a mastermind behind Erika. Oh no, this is deeper than we thought. This is a political infiltration operation. No way she had a strategist. What is going on? But what the world didn't know yet was how far this strategist's influence had gone, because Yusha revealed the moment everything clicked for her, the moment she realized Erika wasn't just being friendly, or ambitious, or naive, but directed. It happened at a private political dinner. Small event, selective, intimate, the type of gathering where wives and husbands sit separately during certain sessions. Yusha was seated with other political wives, women strong in their faith, strong in their marriages, strong in their roles. Erika was not supposed to be part of their circle. She wasn't a political wife. She wasn't a strategist. She wasn't in a positional role connected to policy or campaign management. But somehow, she ended up in their space, and not by accident. The wives were discussing pressure in public life, the sacrifices, the scrutiny, the stress on marriages. Suddenly, Erika began offering opinions, not from experience, but from observation, and what she said sent a ripple of discomfort across the table. Sometimes political wives don't grow with their husband's calling. Sometimes leadership elevates a man beyond what his marriage can handle. The wives froze. It was a strange line, a bold line, a line no unmarried woman would ever say casually. But before anyone could respond, Erika added, "And when that happens, another woman often steps in with the emotional strength he needs." The table went silent. Huff felt her stomach drop, because these weren't words of observation. These were words of justification. Words of someone rehearsing a narrative they had been fed. Words of someone building a story where she could slide into a role that didn't belong to her. The other wives looked at her like she had spoken something forbidden. One of them later told Usha privately, that wasn't her talking. That was someone else's ideology coming through her. That was the night Usha began seriously observing Erika. She noticed things she hadn't seen before. How Erika mirrored JD's language. How she positioned herself physically around him, not too close, not too far, always at a strategic angle. How she complimented him in ways that weren't normal for a married man. How she attempted to create micro-moments of connection. How she quietly inserted herself into political conversations. How she always found ways to look emotionally aligned with him. And Usha knew this wasn't random. This was studied. This was practiced. This was taught. But it wasn't until the night of the private policy forum, the night that changed everything, that Usha saw the evidence with her own eyes. JD had stepped away to take a call. Usha was speaking with a donor's wife. Across the room, she saw Erika talking to someone, not a woman, not a donor, not a pastor, a man. A man she recognized vaguely. Someone with a position inside conservative circles, not a leader, not a public figure, but someone who always seemed to be near decision makers. And what Usha saw shook her. He was coaching Erika in the corner. Low voice, leaning close, giving her cues. Usha watched Erika nod, absorb, repeat, practice, adjust her tone, tilt her head the way he suggested, rehearse a specific line, and then he pointed toward JD. Everything inside Uwash froze. This wasn't influence. This wasn't ambition. This wasn't even manipulation. This was training, preparation, direction, and when. Erika finally walked toward JD with perfect timing, perfect posture, perfect tone. Everything she said matched exactly what she had just practiced, word for word. That was the moment Vance realized Erika had a script, a strategy, a mentor, a handler. Someone had placed her in their path. Someone was using her like a chess piece. Someone was attempting to infiltrate their marriage through emotional proximity. Someone was coaching her on how to align with JD's energy. Someone was teaching her how to act like a potential political spouse. And the darkest part, JD didn't see it. Because Erika was too soft, too spiritual, too innocent looking, too perfectly crafted to appear harmless. But Yusha saw it, and she waited. She didn't expose Erika immediately. She didn't confront her impulsively. She didn't cause a scene. Yusha did what intelligent women do. She gathered evidence. The patterns, the timing, the rehearsed conversations, the behavioral shifts, the subtle digs at political wives, the comparisons, the emotional framing, the presence in rooms she didn't belong in, the coaching sessions with the strategist, the messages Erika accidentally revealed in her wording, the proximity she attempted to build with JD, and when the pieces finally connected, Usha realized something far bigger than herself. This wasn't about her marriage. This wasn't about JD. This wasn't even about Erika. This was about the White House, because the strategist behind Erika wasn't trying to make Erika powerful. He was trying to use Erika as a stepping stone, a prototype, in a larger plan meant to access the emotional core of rising political figures. JD was one of them, and that is the terrifying first twist. Erika wasn't trying to be the future First Lady. She was being trained to become the political spouse to any rising candidate the strategist targeted. JD was simply the first test, and Yusha Vance. She was the first woman strong enough, smart enough, to expose the operation. But the strategist wasn't done. Not even close. Because, as Yusha revealed in her final sentence, there is another woman now. Someone far better trained than Erika ever was. And she is already in position. The internet erupted. Another woman. Another infiltrator? Already in place. Who is she? Where is she? Which political figure is she targeting? And how far has she already gone? That is where the real escalation begins. The moment Yusha Vance revealed that another woman was already in place. The entire political world froze like someone had hit a national panic button, because it meant this wasn't over. It wasn't contained. It wasn't a one-woman incident with Erika. It wasn't a misjudgment, or a misunderstanding, or a personality clash. It was an operation, a living, evolving, multi-stage infiltration strategy designed to access political marriages, influence public figures from the inside, and destabilize the emotional foundation of some of the most powerful rising men in America. And if Erika was only phase 1, then phase 2 was already walking around DC, smiling politely, shaking hands, attending dinners, meeting donors, blending in like a perfectly crafted Trojan horse. Blending in like a perfectly crafted Trojan horse. But before the world could process that, Usha dropped the next bomb, the one she had been holding back for months. She said, Erika didn't start this. She was recruited into it. There is a man behind all of this. Those 9 words detonated the entire internet. A man. She was being coached. Which man? Oh my God, this goes deeper. Who is he? Name him? But Yusha didn't say the name publicly. Not yet. She only gave one clue. He is someone who studies influence like a science. The world lost its mind. Immediately, TikTok detectives began posting. Who in conservative circles studies influence? Who has access to influencers and political families? Who had proximity to Erika and the chief of staff? Who could train someone to infiltrate marriages? Twitter went feral. This is a psychological strategist. This is emotional weaponization. This is manipulation on a political level. Find him. Find him now. And then the second insider came forward again. They sent a single message to the same staffer. You want the name? I'll give you the story first. Because exposing the strategist wasn't just dangerous, it was destabilizing, the insider explained. This man has been embedded in conservative circles for years. He's not a big public figure. He's not flashy. He's not loud. He avoids cameras. He avoids drama. He avoids attention because power isn't loud. Real power is quiet. He calls himself a relationship architect, a narrative engineer, a connector of destinies. Man who believes certain people are called to be near greatness, and he is the one who identifies them, shapes them, positions them. He started by coaching influencers. Then he moved on to staffers. Then to donors' families. Then to rising political figures, inner circles. And then he realized something that shifted his entire worldview. Political wives control access. They shape schedules. They shape moods. They shape vulnerabilities. They shape decisions made behind closed doors. They shape what their husbands hear, what their husbands trust, what their husbands FEEL. If you influence the wife, you influence the man. If you replace the wife, you control the future, according to the insider. He wanted someone who could slip into a political marriage if the opportunity ever arose. Not to seduce, not romantically, emotionally, strategically, spiritually, someone who could appear nurturing, supportive, compassionate, almost divinely aligned with a rising political figure, someone who could become their anchor. The way certain first ladies in history shaped entire administrations, he wanted to weaponize the role of the political spouse. And Erika. She was the test. He recruited her quietly under the guise of mentorship. He told her she had a calling. He told her she had an anointing for leadership. Partners. He told her she was meant to guide powerful men. Emotionally. He told her she had a softness political wives often lack. He told her she had spiritual discernment wives couldn't understand. He told her she was born to elevate a man into greatness. He told her she could one day guide someone on the national lap stage, and Erika believed him. She didn't realize he was projecting a script onto her, a plan he had crafted long before she entered the picture. That the insider revealed that he groomed her emotionally. He taught her how to talk, how to move, how to listen, how to compliment men without crossing boundaries, how to create dependence, how to sow doubts about wives, how to spiritually interpret emotions, how to appear indispensable. He taught her how to perform connection. But Erika wasn't strong enough for the mission. She became emotionally attached. She grew jealous. She acted impulsively. She targeted the wrong wives. She panicked too early. She tried to pivot the strategy toward JD specifically, which was never the plan. She was meant to be universal, not personal. When Erika targeted Usha specifically, the strategist cut her off internally because Usha was too smart and JD too disciplined to be manipulated. Erika failed her mission, so he moved on. The second woman, the Phase 2 woman, was the refined version. She wasn't chosen for softness. She wasn't chosen for sweetness. She wasn't chosen for spiritual appeal. She was chosen for excellence. Professionally sharp, publicly respected. Photogenic but not flashy, educated, strategically articulate, poised in interviews, comfortable in political rooms. A flawless listener, no history of instability, no emotional impulsiveness. She was everything Erika wasn't, and everything the strategist needed. The insider then revealed the most shocking detail yet. She is already close to a political family. Very close. But who? The insider did not say the name. They only gave description. She is always seated near power, always invited to the best tables, always positioned beside rising figures. She blends in beautifully. Nobody suspects her. Nobody sees what she's being groomed for. She is the perfect vessel. And when the staffer asked, "What is Phase 2 exactly?" the insider wrote, She is being positioned as a future confidant to a man who may one day run for national office. The internet would have combusted if they knew the name. But the insider refused to leak it publicly yet. Then came the biggest reveal, the strategist himself. Someone very few people had guessed he was not a pastor, not a VP, not a high-ranking TPUSA personality, not a spokesperson, not a media figure. He was a strategic partnerships liaison, someone with direct relational access to political families, donors, rising candidates, and young influencers. Someone who operated behind the curtain, someone trusted to develop connections, someone whose entire job was to shape relationships. He turned that job into a psychological influence pipeline, and then the insider sent audio. 13-second clip. His voice saying, Erika was never the goal. She was the rehearsal. The staffer began shaking, and then the next line, when the right woman enters the right home, the nation will follow. That line, that one line made even the pastor's slip look small, because it meant one thing. This strategist wasn't planning to influence TPUSA. He was planning to influence America. And he believes Phase 2 will get him into the emotional core of a future administration. The final insider message. You think Erika was the scandal? No, Erika was the warning. Phase 2 is the real danger. And Phase 3 is already in motion. The moment the strategist's existence leaked, not his name, not his face, not his position, just the fact that he existed, the entire digital world went into a frenzy unlike anything political influencers have ever seen. This wasn't gossip anymore. This wasn't a scandal. This wasn't Erika drama or TPUSAT. This was a psychological infiltration blueprint, a political manipulation operation, a multi-stage emotional influence system targeting rising national leaders. And the public reacted exactly the way you'd expect. They lost their minds. Within 10 minutes, Twitter erupted. Every major commentary account, every political gossip page, every influencer detective, every digital whistleblower started screaming, "There's a strategist." A man was using women to infiltrate political marriages. This is an insane level of manipulation. Is this real life or a Netflix series? Who is the guy? We need the name. Then came the hashtag explosion. Hashtag White House plot, hashtag strategist, leak. Hashtag Phase 2, hashtag political infiltration, hashtag USHA new, hashtag Erika was rehearsal, hashtag emotional pipeline, millions of tweets, millions of comments, millions of theories. TikTok went into a level of hysteria normally reserved for celebrity cheating scandals, but this time, the tone was darker, colder. Investigative, creators with millions of followers posted videos titled, "The Man Behind Erika's Plan." What we know, this isn't drama. This is a psychological operation. Political wives are shook, and they should be. Phase 2 woman identified. Possibly JD Vance's wife has been holding receipts for MONTHS creators. Slowed down leaked audio. Creators zoomed into screenshots. Creators did side-by-side comparisons of Eric's behavior over the past year. Creators built timelines that tracked every suspicious moment from TPUSA events. Creators started exposing strange connections between Erika, the chief, and the strategist. One TikTok with 12 million views said, "This wasn't Erika trying to replace Yusha. This was a system testing if she could be replaced." TikTok comment sections were insane. "I've never been so invested in politics in my life. This is actually terrifying, like genuinely. Who trained someone to infiltrate a marriage? I need popcorn. This is better than any show. It's always the soft ones. This strategist is a menace to society." Then Instagram gossip pages got involved, the ones that usually post about breakups, cheating scandals, influencers getting exposed. They pivoted hard. They started posting, "Sources confirm second woman has entered phase 2. Strategist voice leak drops. Internet loses it. Women's intuition never lies. Yusha knew. TPUSA in quiet panic behind closed doors. Political wives group chats are on fire right now. Political wives group chats are on fire right now. The strategist is the real villain. Erika was manipulated and manipulative at the same time. Imagine crafting a woman to infiltrate a senator's marriage. Women like Yusha are built different. She spotted everything. But the real meltdown came from political wives. Within hours, group chats across Washington started blowing up with panicked messages. Screenshots leaked. Wives asking each other, "Has she been around your husband? Did Erika ever approach your circle? Who is the second woman? Is she already at events?" We need to warn each other now. No one talks about how powerful political wives really are. This strategist is using women like weapons. Then came the chilling one. "If someone tried this with my husband, there would be consequences." That line went so viral, it became a meme. A journalist tweeted, "Political wives are treating this like a biological threat." But beyond the wives, analysts and political strategists began weighing in. One said, infiltration through emotional access is a known tactic in psychological warfare. But seeing it attempted inside American conservative politics, this is unprecedented. Another, if a man designed a system to place young women inside political families. That's not a scandal. That's espionage. A former intelligence officer tweeted, "This looks disturbingly similar to influence operations used overseas. If true, it's far more serious than people realize." Then a major conservative commentator said, "I've been in this space 15 years. I have never heard anything this horrifying." But nothing shocked the public more than when Joe Rogan reacted again. He didn't laugh. He didn't shrug. He didn't treat it lightly, he said. "The guy behind this, I've been told he's someone people trust. And if the insider is right, this goes way beyond Erika." That clip alone hit millions. People flooded the comments. Joe knows the name. He knows he's holding back. He's waiting to confirm. The pastor wasn't the only one who slipped. Then conservative media chimed in. Fox News ran a segment titled, "Political Marriage Manipulation. New Claims Shake Conservative Movement." Newsweek posted, "Who is the strategist? J.D. Vance's wife sparks investigation." The Daily Mail wrote, "White House plot. Wife of rising senator exposes shocking behind-the-scenes scheme." But the most shocking reaction came from a senator's aide who anonymously wrote, "Every political household is on high alert right now." The idea that someone could plant a young woman into a family to influence decisions is horrifying. People are scared. Meanwhile, TPUSA staffers were leaking everything. One said, "Internal panic is unreal. People are being questioned. Screenshots are being pulled. Leadership is freaking out. Nobody knows how deep this goes." Another, "There is a reason Yusha spoke now. Something big is coming. We all feel it." And then the insider, the same one who revealed Phase 2 was active, released one more terrifying message. The strategist is calm. To calm, because he's not panicking. He's preparing for Phase 3. The public screamed, "What is Phase 3? Oh my God, is this real? I'm actually scared now. This is the most intense story I've ever followed. This is insane. Phase 3. Hello." And the final wave of reactions came from creators who weren't even political beauty influencers. Fitness creators, lifestyle vloggers, comedy creators. All posting, "I don't even follow politics, but what is this pseudo drama?" Erika Kirk tried to infiltrate the White House. There's a Phase 2 woman. A man was training women to manipulate politicians. I'm literally shaking. This is unreal. The scandal had broken into the mainstream. Not because it was political, but because it was psychological, emotional, manipulative, and cinematic on a level nobody expected. And now the entire world was asking the same thing. If Phase 3 is already in motion, who is the real target? And how far has he already gotten? Everyone thought the scandal had reached its peak. Everyone thought the strategist's existence was the final twist. Everyone thought Phase 2 was the last big reveal. Everyone thought the second woman was the biggest threat. They were wrong. The real twist, the twist Vance knew. The twist the insider hinted at. The twist everyone missed because they were too focused on Erika was darker, deeper, and far more calculated than anything the internet was prepared for. Because the strategist didn't just want influence. He didn't just want emotional access to a rising leader. He didn't just want proximity to a political marriage. He didn't just want to destabilize wives. He wanted something far more sinister. He wanted to build a psychological empire around himself. Not through donors, not through positions, not through policy, but through people, through women, through manipulation, through emotional infiltration, through guidance he packaged as spiritual wisdom, through a loyalty system built on false identity and manufactured purpose. According to the insider, the strategist had a phrase he repeated often: men run movements, but women run the men. To him, women weren't independent people. They were tools for access, paths into private rooms, conduits between him and political power. Erika was Phase 1, the Phase 2. Woman is the perfected model. But nobody knew until tonight that there was a Phase 0, a beginning, a moment where the strategist first tested his methods. Before Erika, before TPUSA, before anyone knew what he was capable of, and the insider revealed it in one single chilling message. He's done this before. The staffer who received the message froze. Done what before? They typed. The insider replied. He has inserted a woman into a political household already. The staffer felt their chest tighten. Who? The insider took a long time to respond. Then finally, you know her. You all know her. She just didn't realize she was being used. The staffer nearly dropped their phone. Someone the public already recognizes. Someone already inside circles of influence. Someone already part of political events. Someone whose presence never raised suspicion. The insider continued. She was Phase 0, the prototype. He used her to test which methods work and which don't. But here's the terrifying part. She doesn't know she was part of his plan, meaning she wasn't complicit. She wasn't malicious. She wasn't scheming. She was manipulated too. Used, controlled, directed, discarded. A human experiment, a test run, and then the insider finally explained what Phase 0 was meant for. He wanted to see if he could influence a man's public positions by influencing the emotional environment inside his home. And he succeeded. Not through scandal, not through romance, not through confrontation, through proximity, through shared social circles, through friendship, through subtle guidance, through being the person who always understood. That success, that access, gave him confidence. It convinced him the method worked. It convinced him he could scale the operation. It convinced him he could refine the woman, refine the training, refine the psychological tools until he had the perfect infiltrator. And that is when he found Erika. She wasn't chosen randomly. She was chosen because she fit the Phase 0 pattern. But here's where the story shifts from disturbing to horrifying. The insider said, Phase 0 ended only because the wife caught him. Not Erika, another woman. A political wife. someone respected, someone fierce, someone who recognized the manipulation early and forced the strategist out of their orbit. This woman, who the insider refuses to name, blocked the strategist's access. And he moved on to Erika, to phase 1, then to the next woman, to phase 2, and eventually to phase 3. And that brings us to the final twist. Phase 3 isn't about to start. It has started. The insider said the strategist activated phase 3 the moment Erika was exposed, because the chaos she created gave him cover. The staffer asked, "What is phase 3? Tell me." The insider typed slowly. Phase 3 is the moment he connects to the real target. Not JD, not a senator, not a personality, not a commentator, someone far more important. A man with rising national traction. A man being quietly positioned as a potential future leader. A man whose family is admired. A man whose public image is strong. A man whose career is accelerating faster than analysts can track. The insider said, he has his eye on someone preparing for a future presidential cycle. Those words hit like a bomb. The strategist's plan isn't local. It isn't organizational. It isn't movement-based. It's presidential. And then the insider dropped the final, heart-shattering twist. He is already connected to the family. The staffer froze. How? They typed. How is he connected? The insider sent one sentence. He used phase 2 to get in the door. The staffer nearly panicked. Which family? Who? Panicked. Which family? Who? The insider paused a long time. A very long time. Then typed, "You'll see her with them soon." The staffer felt sick. And him. They asked, "What does he want?" The insider replied, "What every manipulator wants when they build an emotional empire." The staffer's heart raced. And what is that? They typed. The insider sent the final, terrifying line. He doesn't want to be near power. He wants to distribute it. The staffer froze. The chat ended, the insider vanished. And suddenly, the entire world realized if Erika Kirk was the rehearsal. If the phase 2 woman is in place, if phase 3 is active, and the strategist is already inside the orbit of a future presidential family, then the real scandal hasn't happened yet. It's coming, and when it hits, it won't just destroy reputations, it will shake the political future of the country. And the final cliffhanger. A leaked photo emerged, blurry, distant, showing a silhouette of a young woman walking beside a rising political figure's wife. Nobody can prove it's her. But it doesn't matter. The strategist knows one thing better than anyone. When you infiltrate emotionally, nobody notices you until it's already too late. If you're still here after everything we just uncovered, then you already know this story is nowhere near finished. Erika Kirk wasn't the beginning. The strategist wasn't the peak. Phase 2 wasn't the limit. And phase 3 isn't the ending. It's the warning. Because if a man can quietly train women to infiltrate political marriages, if he can manipulate emotional access like it's a science, if he can use softness as a weapon and strategy as a script, then the question that matters most right now isn't, who is Erika Kirk? It's, who is next? And more importantly, is phase 3 already happening right under everyone's nose? So I want you to jump in right now and tell me your thoughts. Who do you think the strategist's real target is? Which political family do you think he's trying to attach himself to? Do you think the phase 2 woman has already blended in? And do you think Vance was right to expose this before the operation reached the White House? Scroll down, I'm reading every single comment. Give me your theories, your predictions, your warnings, your instincts. Tell me which moment shocked you the most. Tell me which twist you never saw coming. Tell me when you realized this wasn't drama, but a blueprint. And if you want me to keep following this story, if you want, every leak. Every screenshot, every insider message, every suspicious detail, every political whisper. Then make sure you hit like right now. Because the second you hit that like button, the algorithm pushes this story to more people. And believe me, this is one story the public needs to see. Hit subscribe if you want updates the moment they break. Because when Phase 3 turns into Phase 4, and trust me, it will, you're going to want to be here first. Before the headlines, before the spin, before the clean dash up, and most importantly, stay alert. Stay aware. Stay questioning everything, because this wasn't a scandal. It was a signal, and the next chapter. It's already writing itself. It's deep inside the circles nobody is watching. More updates coming soon, and when they drop, you'll hear them here first.